Anup Tiwari from USA. Sadar Charan Sparshacharya ji. All reflections are coming from my limited mind, and when you shower pure nectar in every session, then it seems my words will pollute everything. I do acknowledge that I am related or connected to money, family, position, etc. And for me, Drishta or Atma is merely a concept at this moment. I am using my intellect to type this and would like to know, Acharya, that does ego always shadow intellect? Whenever I use intellect, is some type of ego always associated with that? Like sattvic anger, does sattvic ahankar also exist? Shat Naman. Useful question, Anu. Useful question. You see, what is the ego? We are responding to the question that does sattvic ahankar exist? What is ahankar? What is ego? Ego is a sense of impurity, incompleteness, hollowness. Ego is a longing. Ego is a restlessness. Ego is a continuous tension. That's what the ego is. Getting it? So the ego says, I am in danger. I am incomplete. I am not yet settled. I have to reach somewhere. Getting it? That's what the ego says. And man is born with the ego, and to be born is ego. The seeds of ego themselves are born, and every child is carrying the seeds of ego. So ego is there, which means the sense of incompleteness is there. It's an inevitability. It is necessarily there. So he is incomplete, he is incomplete, he is incomplete, she is incomplete, she is incomplete, he is incomplete. All. Because all are body forms. To be a body form is to have that sense of incompleteness, right? There is a hollow here, 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 and there and here. Everywhere there is a hollow. Now, that gives us a hint. The hollow is common. There are no differences in the hollow. The hollow is the mool vritti. The hollow is the primary tendency. But people differ on what they use to fill the hollow. He is hungry, he is hungry, he is hungry, he is hungry. The hunger probably is the same. But he will eat junk. He will eat salad. She will order fruit. And he will say, I am not hungry at all. I am not eating anything. And obviously faint after a while. So people look at their hollow, their hunger, their incompleteness differently. That tells you what the different kinds of egos are. When you are not even prepared to accept that there exists a hollow, then it is tamasic ahankar. You do not even want to accept that you are suffering. You have made a pact with suffering. You have come to an agreement, an adjustment, a comfortable coexistence with suffering. And now you are saying, I am not suffering at all. Like he said, I am not hungry at all. I am not suffering at all. And this is the condition of a large number of people. If you go and ask them, are you suffering? They will say, come on, who is suffering? In fact, they find it insulting to read Buddha, because the Buddha begins with, life is suffering. So their beginning of the Buddha is the end of Buddha. They open the book of Buddha, and what is the first sentence? Life is suffering, and the book is closed. They say, no, this is false. Life is not suffering at all. Life is jacuzzi. And life is a big car and a Goa beach. So where is suffering? There is no suffering. Come on, honey. The book of Buddha is closed forever. This is that type of ego that has made its house at the wrong place and is neither intelligent nor humble enough to acknowledge that it is at the wrong place. Are you getting it? It is the man on the sinking ship who is enjoying while the ship sinks. And the ship takes a while to sink, and he is saying, no, the ship is not sinking at all. And who says that this is a ship? This is a very firm ground, firm house made on firm ground. It cannot ever sink. That is the lowest kind of ego. It does not even seek fulfillment. Because to seek fulfillment, first of all, you have to accept that you are unfulfilled, incomplete, and hollow. A large proportion of people, I repeat, find it humiliating to accept that their lives are all botched up and severely wrong. To be fair to them, we could say that they are so traumatized that they have lost all sensitivity towards themselves. They have become numb. They have stopped experiencing pain. They have been hit hard and so hard by life that they have lost all sensation. Or you could say that they have become so afraid of losing what they have, even if they know what they have is harmful, that they don't want to accept the obvious. Probably their inner argument is that we at least have something. What if we drop this and end up with nothing? So even if they have all the wrong things, they refuse to drop. Even if it is stale food, bad food, contaminated food, poisoned food, we still have something to eat or at least console ourselves with. The logic of this afraid mind is a plate full of stale food is better than no plate at all. So this ego refuses to acknowledge that it is incomplete and therefore seeks no salvation at all. Then there is the kind of ego that acknowledges that it is incomplete, but wants to gain completion while remaining itself. Understand? The ego is a very flexible thing. It can get attached to anything. In its own dimension, the ego can get identified with anything and yet remain. So the ego can change forms, names, colors, shapes, sizes. The ego can appear to change totally and the ego can still remain. So the ego has a lot of flexibility. Today the ego is attached to this thing, tomorrow the ego is attached to that thing, and it may appear that the man has totally changed, but the man has not changed. The core is the same. In the worldly dimension, the ego has the option to get attached to anything. So now we come to the Rajasic ego. The Rajasic ego is very flexible. It says, if I do not get satisfaction in this thing, then I will quickly move beyond and try to gain satisfaction in that thing. I purchase a new dress. If I do not feel fulfilled in it, then I will go and purchase a new chair. If one relationship doesn't work, I'll enter into a new relationship. I'll be very flexible. And there are a large number of people with such flexible egos. They keep achieving one thing after the other. They never make one definite target. They are very flexible. They say, whatsoever appears to fulfill me, I will rush after that. And they have to rush after a lot of things because ultimately nothing fulfills them. This is the achieving ego. This is the ambitious man's ego. It is not stupid enough to not to acknowledge that it is hungry. It has intellect. The achiever's ego has intellect. So it acknowledges that it is hungry. But it says that I will fulfill my hunger through 1,000 things available in this world. Because whatsoever it is that I use to fulfill my hunger, I remain the same. I remains the same. I plus shirt, I shirt. I house, I success, I respect. I travel. I family, I money. The objects of attachment change, what remains the same? I. So the I is secure. And superficially there is great flexibility. This I is going around trying one thing after the other. But all those things are in the same dimension, the dimension of world. And why are all those things necessarily in the same dimension? Because that dimension protects the incomplete I. The I is safe, getting attached to this, safe, getting attached to this, safe. None of the objects that this I is getting attached to have the capacity to change it. So the I very safely keeps getting attached to this or that. This is the ambitious ego, the Rajasic ego. Try this, try that, and rest assured that none of what you are trying is going to change you. Happy, very happy. And if you don't change, what doesn't change? Your hunger doesn't change. So your happiness is stupid. You are sharp enough to acknowledge that you are hungry, but also stupid enough to not to know what you are really hungry for. That's the ambitious man's ego. Getting it? And then there is another ego that sees that it is dissatisfied, discontented, and also sees that remaining contented is the very prakriti of the inner being, the ego. This ego quickly realizes that nothing that can be obtained in the world is going to fulfill the fundamental incompleteness. So he does not proceed on the stupid adventure of trying to gratiate himself, satisfy himself. He says that kind of adventure will only lead to tiredness and frustration. This inner thing has it in its core to remain unfulfilled. I cannot fulfill it. Whatsoever I may try will fail. I cannot fulfill it. So he says, rather than trying to fulfill it, let me just get rid of the attachment to the thing itself. Which thing? The inner thing, the inner I. Getting it? He tries that, but finds that he is too conditioned for this thing to happen. He can now see that there is no fulfillment in running after the world. He can now see that he must drop that very tendency to run. But he also sees that the dropping is just not happening. He has some kind of knowledge, but that knowledge is not translating into action. So this ego then gets into a relationship with an entity that has been called as the Guru. It says, before I can drop the ego, before I can dissociate myself from the incompleteness, I have to first, the one attached to incompleteness, have to first get attached one last time. And this last attachment is the attachment to the Guru. It is the end of all attachments. That's the Guru. That's the process. To use one last attachment to destroy all your other attachments, and then this last attachment too vanishes. This is sattvic ego. To be hungry for knowledge, to be hungry for learning, to be hungry for God, to be hungry for the Guru. And then after this last kind of ego lies freedom even from knowledge and learning and God and Guru. Now you can say that the ego is fulfilled, or it would be better to say that you have let the ego be. You and the ego are different now. That's what the Guru has blessed you with. He has snapped the unnecessary cord between you and the ego. You identified with Prakriti is the ego. The moment the unnecessary relationship, the destructive identification between Purush and Prakriti is broken, the Purush merges into the Atma and Prakriti plays on her own, solo. She has a beautiful dance when she is solo. And Purush has a beautiful rest when he is solo, resting in the Atman. Now there is no ego at all to be fulfilled. You could say that the hunger has been satiated, or it would be better to say that the hungry one has disappeared.